Former AEW International Champion Roderick Strong receives an AEW World Championship opportunity after shouting at Tony Khan last night on AEW Collision. Will Osprey retains the AEW International Championship against Kyle O'Reilly last night. Chris Jericho steps down from his role as a commentator on AEW Rampage. More details on the injury recovery timeline of Eddie Kingston. Timeless Tony Storm's opponent for Forbidden Door and the AEW World Women's Championship has been revealed. And Mark Henry makes a surprise appearance in MLW after his AEW exit. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Tony Khan granting the demands of Roderick Strong last night on AEW Collision. Now, an interesting way to get an AEW World Championship match was showcased on last night's episode of Collision. Shout at the AEW president, Tony Khan. While he has continued to note that he doesn't intend on becoming a regular on-screen character, Tony Khan once again appeared on AEW television last night on AEW Collision, making his first appearance on television after narrowly escaping being further assaulted by the Elite at last weekend's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Khan was shown backstage at the helm of the show when he was approached by Roderick Strong after Strong's match against Lio Rush. We'll talk about that in just a second. While it is Strong's character to shout down mostly everyone, his stomp to the back included him shouting Tony multiple times on approach. Continuing his loud request, Roderick Strong pled his case for why he deserved an AEW World Championship match against Swerve Strickland, including noting that Tony Khan himself understood overcoming neck injuries and was himself neck strong. Roddy was successful in pleading his case to his boss. Tony Khan said it sounded like a good idea and booked the match for this week's upcoming AEW Dynamite. Now, however, perhaps the moment is part of an ongoing storyline featuring Christopher Daniels, seemingly set to serve as a proxy for Tony Khan as an interim EVP. While Daniels watched the interaction, he didn't do much to intervene, but did tell Strong he wouldn't let him back there as Roddy stormed past, noting he just wanted to talk. Now, perhaps adding a layer of storyline distance between the real-life showrunner Khan and the on-screen characters is being bridged by this moment, in which Daniels can point to later as an example of why an intermediary is necessary. And when it came to Strong, as I mentioned, he was in action last night against someone competing in their first singles match since 2021. Now, after AEW Collision began with an in-ring interview segment featuring FTR vowing to seek revenge against the Elite, there was the first match. The opening bout featured Roderick Strong taking on New Japan Pro Wrestling star Lio Rush after both competed in the Casino Gauntlet match on Dynamite on Wednesday. Now, the bout marks Lio Rush's first ever singles match on AEW television, having previously appeared on Dark back in 2021 in his only previous AEW singles match. After a competitive match, Rush would end up losing to Strong. Perhaps, boldened by the victory, he marched to the back and then pleaded his case and got that AEW World Championship match. So what do you make of this? What do you make of some of the backlash suggesting that it's another random match put together, another random World Championship match? And what does it mean when it comes to the AEW rankings that were just introduced a couple of weeks ago? Let me know your thoughts about it, your reaction to it in the comments section below. Now, Will Osprey, he is still the AEW International Champion. Will Osprey's first AEW International Championship defense is in the books 3 days after he won the right to challenge for the World Championship at AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Osprey defeated former Ring of Honor World Champion and NXT Tag Team Champion Kyle O'Reilly on the June 1st episode of AEW Collision. The match was extremely hard-hitting and competitive, and O'Reilly kicked out of the Hidden Blade not once but twice, but in the end, as it usually does, the Stormbreaker got it done for Osprey, who pinned O'Reilly to retain the title. It should be noted that Osprey was heavily selling an arm injury after the match as a result of an O'Reilly submission. It remains to be seen whether that will be a part of Osprey's storyline going forward. Osprey won the International Championship by defeating Roderick Strong in the opening contest of Double or Nothing, securing his first championship since joining AEW. 3 days later on AEW Dynamite, Osprey won a Casino Gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the AEW World Championship, though technically whether Osprey faces reigning champion Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door remains to be seen, as Strickland will defend against the upcoming challenger, Roderick Strong, as we mentioned, on an upcoming episode of Dynamite this coming Wednesday. Strickland cut a pre-recorded promo on both Osprey and Strong to close out the June 1st episode of AEW Collision. Now, Chris Jericho, he's not going to be a commentator on AEW Rampage anymore. If you're a fan who relished hearing Chris Jericho on commentary Friday nights on AEW Rampage, obviously, you might be a bit disappointed by this news. The Learning Tree appeared backstage on the May 31st episode of the program, flanked by Big Bill and Brian Keith, who Jericho christened the Bad Apple on Wednesday's AEW Dynamite, and told Renee Paquette that he would no longer be serving in that capacity moving forward. He then, as I mentioned, was later revealed that Daddy Magic Matt Menard would be filling Chris Jericho's spot at the desk moving forward. As I mentioned, Matt Menard filled Jericho's spot at the desk on the May 31st episode, and Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter has speculated that Menard would be Jericho's permanent replacement. On Saturday, wrestling historian Pat LaPrade confirmed that Menard is permanently on the Rampage commentary team moving forward. Now, Eddie Kingston, more details on Eddie Kingston after he suffered a huge injury recently. Former AEW Continental Champion Eddie Kingston won't be getting back in the ring anytime soon, as he suffered a serious knee injury during his No Ropes Last Man Standing match against Gabe Kidd at New Japan's Resurgence event. Kingston tore his ACL and meniscus and fractured his tibia during the match, resulting in him being replaced in the Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing by Darby Allin. Kingston himself has already stated that he won't be having surgery until July, as doctors wants to give the AEW star enough time to let his tibia fracture heal. This has also been confirmed by Dave Meltzer in the most recent edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, who stated that the surgery on his ACL and meniscus will take place on July 8, and that the rough time frame for his return will be between March and May of 2025. Kingston had originally hoped to be back in action for AEW's second trip to London, England, for AEW All In 2024 on August 25, but unless the Mad King appears in a non-wrestling capacity, that looks to be off the table completely at the time of recording. Now, before his injury, Kingston had arguably the most successful year of his career to date. He won the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship in July 2023 and quickly followed that up with a victory over longtime rival Claudio Castagnoli to become the brand new Ring of Honor World Champion. Kingston rounded out 2023 by winning the inaugural Continental Classic Tournament at AEW World's End, becoming the AEW Continental Champion in the process and forming the Western equivalent of the Triple Crown Championship. The Continental Crown has since been split due to Kingston losing the three titles separately to Kazuchika Okada in AEW, Mark Briscoe in Ring of Honor, and Gabe Kidd in New Japan Strong, respectively. Now, speaking of New Japan and Forbidden Door, of course, we know that several matches are being announced on the road to Forbidden Door later on this month, and another World Championship match is set to take place at the annual AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view. In recent weeks, Stardom's Mina Shirakawa has made surprise appearances on AEW Dynamite, where she's come to the aid of her former Club Venus stablemate Mariah May in the absence of timeless Toni Storm. However, it seems as though Toni and Mina are set to encounter each other sooner rather than later, as the AEW Women's World Champion appeared in a video on last night's Stardom show, where she said she was opening the Forbidden Door and wanted Mina. Mina currently reigns as one-third of the Artist of Stardom champions alongside Micah and Xena of Empress Nexus Venus in Stardom. Another Women's Championship match seemingly set up for Forbidden Door on this week's Dynamite show when CM Al Stephanie Vacqua, the current New Japan Strong Women's Champion, confronted new TBS champion Mercedes Moné following her successful title defense against Sky Blue. And finally, a bit of a surprise appearance when it comes to WWE Hall of Famer and former AEW star Mark Henry. Now making an unannounced appearance at last night's MLW event Battle Riot, the legendary star that was referred to as a hot free agent. Mark Henry made an appearance to a thunderous crowd reaction at last night's Battle Riot, joining fellow WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long on stage. Mark Henry recently revealed that his contract with All Elite Wrestling was coming to an end and he would not be re-signing with the company. While Mark Henry wasn't on WWE television last night, a storyline certainly synonymous with him certainly was, as AJ Styles faked his retirement and attacked Cody Rhodes, reminiscent of Henry doing the same to John Cena many years prior. Resurrecting both the classic betrayal and the pastel suit, Mark Henry has since reacted to the segment, giving his endorsement to the phenomenal one. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.